Hey guys, it's DZLM back in Card Fight Vanguard deck profile, so I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and also sorry. This time we're covering DZLM set 1 for Kyouka. So Kyouka got support in set 2 for some arbitrary reason, and then proceeded to get support in DZLM, where it was just going to get a new grade 3. I still don't understand why Kyouka randomly, compared to everyone else in Lyrical Monasterio, got support in set 2, but then specifically everyone else didn't, and then she was going to get an evolution anyways. It really doesn't make sense to me, but whatever. Let's go ahead and see what we got here, because honestly, the new upgrades to Kyouka just feel like they could have just gone to set 2, to be honest with you, but hey, it works. We got them almost immediately after, so I'll take what we can get. First today we have our energy generator. It's our ride deck crest. You remember ride deck crest in your ride deck. Auto ride deck, when you ride, put this card to your crest zone, energy charge 3 if you win second. Continue to 10 energy and all begin your ride phase, energy charge 3, then act once per turn, energy plus 7, draw a card. All around, it's just a good card, you know, free 3 energy every single turn, and if you win second, you get another 3 energy on top of that. And you could energy blast 7 to draw a card, and this deck has some interaction with your energy blast, so you know there will be a lot of games where you don't get that draw, but there are also some games where you will get that draw because maybe you don't see a lot of your energy blasters or you don't use the skills that require energy blasting, which is honestly pretty cool. So again, it's a free draw, but mainly just an additional resource that doesn't take up CB or soul, which is a nice addition to have in a deck that can kind of flip-flop between the both if you open a very specific way. So that's our ride deck crest. Following that, we have our starter and hashtag first step Kyouka. I don't know why I instinctively actively do the hashtag sign with my fingers the second I read that. I do not know why, that's the first thing my body tries to do. Anyways, 0 boost, 5k shield, 6k base, auto road pump is like a draw card, standard starter, no splash, free draw if you go second, you get to run any starter you want. I used to make a hashtag first step Kyouka because I always follow the line. Also, the grade 1 doesn't require this, but I always like having it anyway. So one of Kyouka in the ride deck. Then we have our triggers from Overtrigger, Demonic Fever, Gaviria. Grade 0 boost, 50k shield, 5k power, Overtrigger in your deck. If you reveal it, add trigger, move that card, draw a card, choose a moves, it gets supposed to move for the turn, and reveal it during your draw check, activate its additional effect, which you get during this fight, you get during your turn. All of your rear guards get plus 10,000 power. All around pretty solid because the turn you drive check this or damage check this, either someone's hitting that turn unless your opponent has a PG, or someone is not getting hit that turn unless your opponent sacks their own over. But on top of that, if you sack this aggressively, like I did, I think it was the first game I played with this deck on camera, free 1 mil to whoever is in that battle, but also just 10k to your entire board. And with a deck that can kind of board spam and will almost always have a full board, yeah, that 10k makes a difference, especially if you can go from 4 attacks to 5 attacks to hell, maybe even 6 attacks in a row. Yeah, Gaviria is a nice overtrigger to have. You can run Volnut for more because it's multi-attacking. You can run Esporia for recycling or the Dark Overtrigger for healing and calling. But yeah, in a deck that can kind of go back and forth with how much it can multi-attack, I'd much rather have Gaviria, especially because if you pull it early, your opponent's in for one hell of a game. So one of her. Then we have our normal triggers. Okay, everyone saw this coming. I don't know why I do this, though, because the good news is I found at least one more deck that I have in DZLM set 1 that doesn't do this. But for now, we're on to the decks that do have 2 copies of each of the front and draw Transparent Snow Knight, Bear Torrent, Snowskip, Poliv, respectively. Grade 0 boost, 15k shield, 4k power for Poliv. Grade 0 boost, 5k shield, 4k power for Bear Toy. Both of them on the same skills. It continues Guard Circle, opponent's Vanguards are grade 3, grade 5k shield, front trigger and draw trigger, respectively. Poliv helps increase the numbers of front row both defensively and offensively to help screw over your opponent on the offense while also just breaking through all of their guard power. And Bear Toy, well, she helps increase hand cards to see your specific units, and because this deck wants to have specific grades on board and you want to hit as many of the multi-attackers as possible and ways to keep your multi-attack up, you're definitely going to want to run Bear Toy for the 2 of as well. Then we have our 7 crits, 3 copies of Fluffy Lady Godleave, because I'm just too lazy to take her out. Grade 0 boost, 15k shield, 5k power. Again, it can be any crit you want. It's literally just Godleave because I copied pretty much all of my Lyrical Monasterio decks from 1, and then I just kept using Godleave as the crit because I was too lazy to change it, like I said. And then 4 copies of Edwidge, grade 0 boost, 15k shield, 4k power, critical trigger, auto rear guard, boosted, shove it to soul, choose one range to get 2k for the turn. All around pretty solid. You know, she increases your soul, so if you choose to go on the soul blast heavy route that this deck can go down, which is a 1 in 5 possibility, yeah, she's nice, and that 2k can, in very specific situations, make that difference, but most likely you're not going to use it for that 2k difference. You're probably at best going to use it for soul, and even then that's kind of pushing it. So we got 7 crits for the crit pressure, because 4 attacks, 4, 5, 6 attacks, might as well go for crit pressure on the Vanguard attack. Then we have 4 heals and Peaceful Guard and Anika, grade 0 boost, 50k shield, 5k power. Okay, same excuse as Godleave, I'm just too lazy to change it, but Anika is in here because as I've proven with my other Lyrical decks, Anika will show up when I need her to if I'm actually trying to win with it. So, like, if I need Anika to show up 3 times in a row and have all heal effects go off, they will. That has been an actual consistent in my games. That was literally a game in somewhere on the channel where if we go back long enough and check it, there was a game where I sacked 3 Anikas back to back to back and all of them went off. So, 4 of Anika, pretty solid heal. You can make it whatever heal you want. You can even make the counter heals. I just used to make an Anika because I have good luck with her apparently. Then move on to our grade 1s. 3 copies of Convio Evening Rasky. Grade 1 boost, 5 Kyouka, aka base. Auto rearguard when it boosts. If you played a magazine, order this turn, shoot to 1 card from your drop zone, shove it to soul, and this unit gets 5,000 power for that battle. All around pretty solid because as long as you played a magazine, you don't even have to be on a grade 3 Kyouka. Hell, you don't have to be on the grade 2. Hell, you don't even have to be on the grade 1. Technically speaking, if you found a way to pull this while you're on grade 0, and you found a way to play the magazine when you're on grade 0, you could use the skill. But anyways, you pick any card from your drop zone and you yeet it into the soul. So in case you're playing like a heavy soul blast version of this deck, Rasky's just here for you. That's free soul charge and a free 13k booster out of it. That isn't once per turn either. So you found a way to stand her, well, there you go. Rasky's just a good grade 1, you know. She helps increase your soul count. She helps increase your power. She keeps you, like, kind of balanced with your resources. Just all around a good grade 1. I don't know what to say about her. She's just randomly good for some reason. And her art quality isn't that bad either, so 3 of. Then we have 4 copies of Today's Selfie, Fredius. So grade 1 boost, 5 Kyouka, AK base. The phrase I like to use for her is either I will use her at every conceivable moment, or I will not use her at all, and she will be there simply as ditch fodder, nothing else. So a continuous deck, if your Vanguard has a Kyouka in its card name, when you would search or choose a magazine order card from your deck, you may search or choose this card instead. So pretty much whenever you use your Kyouka skills to declare grades, you could pretty much just grab Fredius if you try to flip over a magazine, which is pretty solid. And then auto back or rear guard circle at the end of your turn. Retire this unit, choose a grade 3, sorry, not choose a grade 3, choose any card with Kyouka in its card name from your drop zone or a magazine card and add it to your hand. So it's a way to recycle Persona Rides / back row attackers. It's a way to recycle your magazines. All around, she's a good grade 1. Like I said, there are times where I just won't use her and she will either be the equivalent to an AK vanilla on board just because she showed up long before Rasky showed up, or she will just be ditch fodder in my hand, or she will actively go off at every conceivable stage. As in, every time I do a search, I will add a Fredius, and every single time I can use this skill, I will use this skill, whether to fetch back a Persona Rider magazine order, just for PG fodder. I will literally kill her just to get PG fodder. Like, that's kind of how Fredius goes. She either is used or not used at all. Either way, 4 of her, she's a nice grade 1 to where she's pretty much a pull target from any of your Kyouka skills, and she does recycle your cards that can either beat PG fodder, or, you know, basically guarantee you win on next turn. So 4 Fredius. Then we have 4 copies of PG and Musical Committee Nicoline. Grade 1 boost, 0 souls. K base contains Sentinel. We have 4 Sentinels in deck. On spot on guard circle. Choose 1 mutes. It cannot be hit till the battle. If it has 2 more cards in it, choose a card from hand, guard, and standard PG. Nothing to specify about it. Basically, what that means, if this is only one of the cards in your hand, place it on guard circle, you don't have to go great, because that means you can be as aggressive in the early game. Spam the ever living hell out of these 2. And then when your opponent eventually counterattacks you for, you know, overextending a little bit, throw out the PG, give him the middle finger, you're safe. All around, Nicoline's a very solid PG. You can really run any of the Lyrical Monasterio PGs. I just choose to make it Nicoline because, I don't know, I feel like she fits the Kyouka theme the most, so 4 of her. Then we have our 4 copies of probably the most important card of the deck, Lyrical Shooting Star S. Grade 1 normal order, play while your Vanguard's a Kyouka. It can be play while you're a grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. It does its best at grade 3, but it does perform well on grade 1 as well. Perform all the following according to the number of units on your board. If you have 2 or more grade 1 units, including the Vanguard, draw 2 cards, choose a card from your hand, discard it. 2 or more grade 2 units, again, including the Vanguard, choose 1 of your units, plus 7 power for that turn. 2 or more grade 3 units, again, including the Vanguard, counter charge 1. All around, pretty solid abilities. If you try to play this on grade 1, you get to filter out a little bit, maybe add a little bit more aggro cards and have early soul charge access. With the grade 2 ability, well, someone's just basically getting blocked by a trigger guaranteed. And the grade 3 ability, well, the CC has never once been useful for me, but I know why it's there, and I see the path that the decks can go down, but I just never would get that CC off, or not in a moment where it matters. Either way, though, this card's pretty solid. Like, you get a bunch of different effects all at once, which is pretty cool. It costs literally nothing to do so. In fact, it's more resource for you, considering the fact, you know, 2 cards are going to hand, or at least 1, technically speaking, and then you're countercharging. And my favorite part about this card is the art that's shown here. This reminds me of Megumi when she's, like, in her schoolgirl outfit, and then this, to those of you that to those of you that have watched Battle Spirits Brave, this reminds me of Violet Mai, my favorite female character, because she is a goddamn badass in that show. And man, this like art right here reminds me so much of her. It's got her hair, it's kind of got her dress, kind of got her shirt. The shirt's a different color, albeit, but like, you get my point if you've seen Violet Mai. Well, technically speaking, I think she went by Shinonome Mai in that season. Anyways, or at least at that point when she had that outfit. Either way, though, this card is a very good order. Get you hand cards, get you rear guard numbers, get you resources back, all while you have a Kyouka Vanguard of any grade. Easy 4 of in my book. Then we have our grade 1, hashtag ready to go Kyouka. It felt so weird literally having to hold my hands down to the point where they auto like rose up to do the hashtag. Anyways, grade 1 boost, 5 Kasho, AK base. Auto wrote upon by a grade 2 card of Kyouka in the card name. Choose a grade between 1 to 3. Declare it, check top 5. Choose up to 1 unit card with a declared grade of a magazine card from among them. Reveal, put your hand, show off your deck. All around pretty solid. So you pretty much pick any grade you want. You can say whatever you want. You just can't declare bankruptcy. As much as I want to show that clip, I fear copyright, so I'm not going to play it. But we all imagine the Office scene where Michael just goes, I declare bankruptcy. Anyway, check the top 5, either get a unit card. So honestly, I just always tell people this, unless you need like a very specific grade 2, this very specific grade 2, just say grade 1, because either you're going to hit a magazine, you're either going to hit a Fredis, or you're going to hit a PG, which is just either way, free resource to hand, and which all around is pretty solid, so she's just a nice grade 1 to have. She either searches a magazine or searches your important units, so one of them in the red deck. But yeah, no, I'm serious, like, unless you're specifically missing Archie, and you don't think you're going to see her by the time you get to grade 3, just always say grade 1, because this is a way just to net PGs. Then we have our grade 2s, 2 copies of Photogenic Finder Turan. The grade 2 I banked an entire game on, even though I literally put her at a 2 of just in case for that very specific situation. And lo and fucking behold, Turan did her damn job and actually pulled the grade 2 I needed in a 1 of 7 chance. Anyways, grade 2 is a 5k shield, 10k base, continues rear guard. If you played a magazine this turn, 5,000 power, so 15k, not that bad, not that great, especially because Kyouka already gives numbers. But again, because Kyouka already gives numbers, it kind of evens out. And after rear guard, if you played a magazine order this turn, Energy Blast 2 and Shove Her to Soul. Check top 7. Choose up to 1 unit card with a different card name from her, from among them. Call it to rear guard, or choose up to 1 magazine, reveal, put your hand, shuffle your deck. All are pretty solid because she can let you either net you another magazine that you can use on the next turn, or she can just get you a free rear guard while also sending herself to soul to at least increase your soul blast power for, I don't know, restand shenanigans. All around, Turan is just a 2A run is just a very good grade 2. I do love her. I think she's a nice, like, all-around solid card. I don't want to put her at 4 because I feel like she's unnecessary to be at a 4, but being able to, like, top 7 search makes her pretty good in my books of 2 of. Then we have 4 copies of Blue Frontier Archie. Literally the only reason I remembered Kyouka exist. I don't remember what time it was, but it was like around the time Kyouka was getting support. It was either back in the Halloween Lyrical Mono booster or the Set 2 booster in DZ. But either way, I knew Kyouka was getting support, but I literally forgot what Kyouka focused on, and it was only because I remembered who Archie was. Like, I could remember her hair, and I remembered her skill almost verbatim to the letter, and that's how I was able to remember what Kyouka does. It wasn't Kyouka herself, it was this. Anyways, great turn, set 5k shield, 10k base. Continues rear guard during turn. If you play a magazine order this turn, she's 5,000 power. So 15k swing, all around pretty solid. And that's kind of important when you realize auto rear guard once per turn. At the end of her battle, your grade 3 greater vanguard attack. If you play a magazine order this turn, CB1 soul boss 1 stanter. All around, cool. I know it sounds really weird that I'm like praising, oh, the 5k skill and then here, but then I kind of like shat on it here. Well, the difference is Archie attacks twice. You don't really swing with her in this deck. You use her skill specifically to get you soul and rear guards, and that's it. Specifically, you try to get Archie with this, but either way, you know, 15k swing that's attacking twice, and with Kyouka already giving her numbers, makes her all around pretty solid. She only takes up a CB and a Soul Blast. If you open with 2 of these and you play them both every turn, you will run into the CB problem, which is why Shooting Star S exists. But if you're like me and you don't pull the second one until the very late game, you're pretty much never going to be able to use that skill to the point where it makes a difference in terms of CB. So take that as you will. The all-around Archie is just a nice and solid grade 2. I do like her a lot. The restand is nice. The extra 5k is nice, especially with Lyrical Shooting Star S, who just gives her free 10k. She's a 25k swing twice, 4 of. Then we have 4 copies of Plenty Research Norma, grade 2 set 5k shield, 10k base, auto placed on rearguard circle, CB1, search after 1 magazine, reveal, put your hand, shuffle your deck. And this is why you just declare grade 1s with Kyouka to attempt to hit a PG, because you never need to hit a magazine, because quite literally Norma just searches it for you. And then continues rearguard, if you play a magazine on this turn, she gets boost. Okay, simple. She's a grade 2 with boost. There's not much more I can say about that. That's an easier way to get 2 grade 2s on board if you don't want to play double Archie, which is nice. So 4 of Norma, just solid grade 2 nonetheless. I definitely recommend you type in the words Norma to TCG player, because when I typed in its original Japanese name, because the fandom didn't have the English name on there, I said Nomra, so basically swap the M and the R, and it didn't pop up and I had to just keep guess checking each and every letter until it eventually worked. And at some point I just typed in plenty and it popped up on its own, thankfully. But yeah, 4 of Norma, very good grade 2, searches magazines and it gets boost. To be fair, if you're like me and you open with a magazine every game, you don't really need Norma, but I like to have her anyways because deck winning is deck winning. Then we have last grade 2 in the deck, one of in the red deck, and then the main deck of hashtag hot stuff Kyouka. Again, I literally instinctively raised my hands to do it. I don't know why I do that. Anyways, auto and road upon by the grade 3 Kyouka, choose up to 1 magazine card from your drop zone, add it to the hand. If you put a card, counter boss. If you did not put a card, I don't know why it says if you put a card. If you did not put a card, follow this one right here. Counter boss 1, search your deck for up to 1 magazine, reveal, put your hand, shuffle your deck. All around pretty solid. You either get a magazine free from drop zone, so ride deck fodder, or you just played wrong thing. Or you just played it last turn while you were on grade 1 and pretty much used it to draw 2 cards, or used it while you had Archie on your board. But you can, if you don't have one in drop zone, CB1, just search the deck for it. Archie pretty solid. She gives you the order you need. What's I like about her? Easy one of in the ride deck. Then move on to our grade 3s. 4 copies of Untarnished Gold Silver Elsbeth, who I used, okay, I'm not going to say perfectly properly when she first came out, but I'm going to say this. I used her a lot better in DZ Set 2 than I use her now. Because now she's just a grade 3. But in DC Set 2, she was at least a grade 3 with a skill that I used properly. Grade 3 to 9% right, 13k base. Auto rear guard at the beginning of your battle phase. If you played a magazine order this turn, shove her to soul, draw a card, choose one of your grade 3 list units, 5,000 power for the turn. Okay, solid. She increases your soul count. Cool, she knocks off for Archie. She gets 5k. You stack this onto Archie. And if you have 2 Archies on your board, you give it to whichever one didn't get the 10k from this. And then you also get a draw card to replace her. And also she counts as a grade 3 on board up into that battle phase, which basically means she'll count towards the order's counter charge ability. Aron Elspeth is a very solid supporting grade 3. Do not get me wrong, she is really good. It's just that with how Kyouka works now, Elsbeth tends to just stay in my hand most of the time, and the one time I called her down to board, I just completely... Okay, it's not that I completely forgot to use her skill, well it is, but it's also because like in that situation it wouldn't have been worth it. So 4 of Elsbeth, she's a good grade 3, don't get me wrong, it's just that it's kind of changed to where you don't need to use her that much. And then we have 2 copies of hashtag Make a Trend Kyouka. I have to say this is in the main deck. Neither of these 2 copies are in the ride deck. Grade 3, 200% 13k base. Active Vanguard once per turn. Soul Boss 1, choose a grade from 1 to 3, declare it. Check top 5, choose 1 unit card, declare grade, call it to rear guard circle, or choose 1 magazine from unlimited reveal, put your hand, shuffle your deck. Okay, so this is not the one where you always say grade 1, grade 1, grade 1. You only pick grade 1 here if you don't have enough grade 1s on your board to proc off the magazine order effect, because since the grade 1 is now going to go to board, you don't want to end up having to call PG. So either call a grade 2, or again, if you don't have a grade 1 on board, call grade 1, shuffle the deck, and then continues Vanguard during turn. If you play magazine order this turn, your entire farm gets 5,000 power. Okay, not bad. Free 5k to front row, checks the top 5, calls a unit, doesn't cost any CB to do this, only costs a single soul blast. Not bad. You can choose to run this in the ride deck, but considering what the new Kyouka does, which is just basically this but 10 times better, you don't really need her in the ride deck. Though with how the new Kyouka works, you can persona ride them on top of each other, and she's still worth running in the main deck because we are now covering hashtag. Oh, it's not even hashtag. Oh yes, it is hashtag. For some reason, the fandom didn't just copy and paste the name on there. Anyways, hashtag Make a Wish Kyouka. Dressed up. Hashtag Make a Trend Kyouka. During this turn, during this fight, she's also regarded as a specified card. So during deck building, you could run both these at max copies if you wanted to, but then during the fight, they are considered the same card, so they can persona right off of each other, which is nice. Grade 3, 10% 30k base. Exchange Vanguard. During turn, if you played a magazine order this turn, your entire farm gets 5,000 power, and if your opponent's Vanguard is also a grade 3 or greater, all of your units with Kyouka on their card names can attack from the back center column and get plus 5,000 power. I now realize that like how Hazeret's worded, this 5k affects everyone that is in back center as well, as long as they're Kyoukas. So she's an 18k. Wait, no, I did realize I just never had more than 2 Kyoukas on the board. Never mind. But she's an 18k. Back center Kyouka's an 18k. Actually, technically speaking, she's a 23 because she's 5k from this part of her skill, and then she's 5k from this part of her skill. So she's 23. This is 18. This is hopefully, if you have 2 of these in the front row, one of them got the skill from the order, so 25, plus the additional 5k. So one of them's 30, and the other one is just a flat 20, which is still pretty solid. And the other ability is Act Vanguard once per turn. Soul Blast 1 or Energy Blast 2. Choose a grade 1 or 3, choose a grade from 1 to 3, declare it. Check top 5, choose up to 1 unit card with the declared grade and up to 1 magazine from them. Then reveal them, put it to your hand, shuffle your deck. Let me just highlight something real quickly. And 1 magazine. So, you get to choose between either having the exact same cost as Kyouka or just choosing to pay 2 energy to check the top 5 and do basically this but better. Because not only does it add 2 cards, but they both go to hand. Meaning you will always, unless you really need a unit of a different grade, you will always say grade 1 to hit PGs. You now have 2 cards in your ride deck that can auto-search PGs. Do you know how many times this works? Honestly, 50-50, but like the point still stands the fact that Kyouka randomly has the ability to search PGs for no apparent reason twice in the ride deck. And again, free 5k to the entire front row. If the opponent's Vanguard's a grade 3 or greater, you got 4 attacks, even without Archie, all for free just by playing the magazine card. And the Vanguard's already a 23k base with that. All around, hashtag Make-A-Wish Kyouka is literally just hashtag Make-A-Trend Kyouka, but stronger. She gives back row attack. She gives the same buff, but better. And she literally does the exact same searching skill, but again, better. Like, if you don't have a copy of her in hand, and you have a copy of this one in hand, and you really need the Persona for numbers, it's not the end of the world to go into her, because your front row will still get the 5k, hopefully, and you'll still at least get the rear guard out of it, or magazine from her skill. But like, if it's a choice between which one to ride, you will always go Make-A-Wish if there's a choice, because she's just the same thing but better, which is why she's a 3 of in the main deck and a 1 of in the ride deck. And also just really like love her outfit. Like most of the time I don't like Lyrical Monasterio girls at grade 3, like, or sometimes like hit or miss, but honestly I really love like her outfit here. I don't know, it's kind of like wedding dress vibes, and I really love the like this, it's not Starry Sky, which is like so unique for the Lyrical Monasterio booster set here, but it's like happy clouds, and I think that's really cool. Anyways, without further ado, that's it for this one. I hope you all enjoyed. This deck is actually very fun to play. You just basically try to hit PGs with your 2 cards that can search them. You have consistent order use, which just looks really pretty and reminds me of my favorite Battle Spirits character, or at least my favorite female Battle Spirits character. We have the card that uses a vanilla or works every single time. Free soul charge galore, not like you will ever run into a soul boss problem, but to be fair, there's that. You could double Archie people, which is always fun, especially because she procs while your opponent's at grade 2 as well. So, you know, 5 attacks or your opponent's at grade 2 is pretty nice to have. And not to mention the fact you have like a good variety of units to where you'll pretty much always be able to pull off the order's full skill. And we also have a card you can gamble with and basically try to hit Archie with, and most of the time work. So without further ado, I'm going to this one here. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, join us on Twitch. I'll see you all next one. So stand up your Vanguards.